All right, hello and welcome to Alien Brain Astrology. Today we're going to talk about the solar eclipse in Aries coming up on the 8th of April. It's fast approaching. Um, and yeah, when we talk about eclipse season, we talk about major things happening in your life. Now, this eclipse is we had one earlier in March, and now we're gonna have one. We had a lunar eclipse in March. Now we're gonna have a solar eclipse. Okay, and solar eclipses happen during new moons, and when the nodes are involved. And in this case, it is the north node. Last time we had a lunar eclipse, it was with the south node. Now, when we're talking about the north node, this guy right here, we're talking about moving forward, things of the future, foreign things, moving forward. When we're talking about the south node, we're talking about things from the past. Now, um, this is going to be an intense day, all right? And I don't mean to scare anybody. I don't mean to upset anyone, but usually eclipses are big deals, especially in North America where we will be able to see it. If you can see a planetary alignment or a planetary activity, then there's a good chance that it's going to affect you a lot more. It's going to be more prominent for you. So, several things about this day, the 8th of April. Okay, several things. The sun and the moon are going to be in Aries. Okay, the north node is in Aries, and Chiron is in Aries. Uh, Mercury is in Aries, and Mercury is in retrograde. Okay, Mercury is in retrograde. So there's a lot of activity happening in Aries. Now, if you have Aries anywhere, any placement in Aries from, I want to say 13 degrees of Aries to 27 degrees of Aries, if you got any activity happening there, any planets, angles, points in Aries from 13 to 27 degrees, you're definitely gonna feel this eclipse. And this season is gonna affect you very much so because there's just so many planets and points and important things happening in Aries. If you have any points placements, angles happening at, again, from 15 to 27 degrees of Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you're also gonna feel this. This is gonna be really affecting your chart, especially if you have any of those four signs. If you have Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn on any one of your angles, so ascendant, midheaven, descendant, or IC, the fourth house right down here. If you have any of these signs in the first, fourth, seventh, or 10th houses, this is going to be, again, a major turning point in life. Okay. Now, solar eclipses, the sun, the ego, our vitality, our soul is being shrouded. Okay. It's going to be shrouded. And when that happens, it's going to bring up all the actions that we take on eclipse days is going to be usually like pure ego. Okay, so that's why it's really important on eclipses to not do too much. As a matter of fact, this is the day, in my humble opinion, to be in meditation. Okay, to be as clean as possible, cleansed as possible in thought, in action, in activity, in whatever it is that you're doing on eclipse day. You want it to be as cleansed, as clean as possible. Okay, new moons are a time of, this is where we start to think about the seeds that we want to plant. Okay, this is the new moons are the days of new possibility, newness, a clean slate in a way. Okay, and so we have, I want to talk about this Chiron and the sun. Okay, so Chiron and the sun, because Chiron's so close to the sun. Okay, it's gonna be Kazimi, and Kazimi just means, the sun is just purifying whatever is near it, so it can be burning it, kind of agitating it, right? And also purifying it, okay? The sun is heat. So when we have Chiron here and happening so close to this eclipse, okay, and so close to this new moon event, it's gonna bring up, Chiron is the wounded healer. That's what they call it, right? Chiron is the wounded healer asteroid. It speaks about our internal woundings, right? Things that hurt us. And wherever Chiron is in your chart, right, will show where you have this kind of wound. In this case, Chiron's in Aries, so wherever Aries is in your chart, this is where you're gonna feel those blockages, those woundings, right? These will all rise to the surface. Everything that's blocking you, everything that's kind of stopping you from being your true self, being this Aries energy, which is all about, Aries is very independent. They're very much, what they want, they go and get. Impulsive, just full of vitality. Okay, especially when the sun is there. The sun is exalted in Aries. It loves to be in Aries. And so these people are naturally confident. And anything kind of blocking that, since we've had this Chiron influence in Aries for a while, anything that's bringing that internal wounding, that maybe shame, any way that we consciously hold ourselves back, whether consciously or unconsciously, those realizations will bubble up to the surface so you can see them now for what they are, right? Because the sun and the moon is sitting right there. It's gonna be an uncomfortable time because of this. Um, Chiron is where we're kind of like sensitive, okay? And you know, because of all this activity too, and Aries is a fiery sign, we could definitely feel more agitated, okay? We're feeling agitated because the things that are sensitive points for us are going to come up, and now we're going to feel like people are attacking us. But this is why I say on eclipses is real important, so important to, be quiet, be calm, isolate just a little bit, right? Anything to keep as much purity and cleansed state of mind, body as possible is really important on an eclipse, right? Because it will just bring out all these feelings, it will bring out all these actions, right? And eclipses are a time where, I like to say nothing is set in stone with astrology. Things are always changing. But eclipses are the time where it comes very, very close to things being set in stone. One such contract is made spiritually, in real life, whatever, you know, it's that's it. It's set. Okay. And it becomes actually extremely hard to change those things. So that's why I'm saying it's really important to be careful about the actions that you take on eclipse days, because if you do something good, or if something good comes on an eclipse day, fantastic. But if something not so good, something a little bit more negative happens, then it can be really, really tough to reverse that. Okay. As compared to other transits, other alignments. All right. So this Kazumi, is gonna bring up our sensitive points. We're gonna feel agitated, okay? And so it's really good, especially when we're talking about Aries. Maybe practice maybe do some workout. One that's safe. Not too hard on you, but that gets a sweat going. Um, and again, you do that to calm the body. When you do that workout, you get all that energy, that initial energy out, those jitters, those shakiness, that anxiety is a big one. You get it all out of your body, so now you're able to relax. Okay, the mind's able to relax. Now, and the mind is very important here. The mind is very important here. Why? Because the moon, which is our emotional mind, our experience of life, and then Mercury, which is our rational mind, our logic, they are both in Aries. It is extremely important to get our mind under control, calm, cool, and collected on this eclipse. I cannot stress it enough, okay? Because we got the chance of our emotional mind kind of just going haywire, okay, rising to the surface, and then we have the chance of this, Mercury, our logical mind. It's already in retrograde, right? So we're, it's not a good time to think about new things. It's a good time to solve problems or review things that we did in the past, okay? Like, probably, I want to say, starting around the 17th of March, things that were happening around then, a good time to really think about how to solve a problem that was happening then, or revisit a conversation that was happening around then, okay? Starting from the 17th of March, okay? Why? Because Mercury retrograde, it takes, when it goes retrograde, it travels back to a certain point that it already had passed. And that point started on the 17th of March. That's what I'm saying, right? So it'll reach back where it was on the 17th, and then it'll start moving forward. It'll go direct. Okay. It'll go direct again, all right? So it's a really good idea to, when Mercury is in retrograde, to not entertain new ideas or ventures or anything like that. It's a time to review, relook at things, solve problems from the past. Okay, anything that happened before, it's a good time. Mercury retrograde. Okay, so with this eclipse, we're asked, because it's a north node eclipse, we're asked to focus on the future, right? The things that we purge ourselves of during this Chiron interaction with the sun and the moon, the things that we purge ourselves from will help us to be able to move forward, because what we are looking at is a sense of newness, of new beginnings, okay? And of course, again, solar eclipses, we will feel solar eclipses for 6 months, okay? We're going to feel it for 6 months moving forward. So we had an eclipse in October, okay, of last year, on the Libra. I believe that was I believe that was a solar eclipse as well. Okay, in Libra. Okay, so now it's the solar eclipse in Aries. Okay, so the 6 months has already passed from October, I believe. Yes, it's already passed because we're in April now. So whatever that cycle now is done, and we're starting a new one. Okay, we're starting a new 6 month cycle. So if you have Aries in your first house, my God, it's, you're gonna, your health is important. Your physical health. You're gonna see the world with new eyes. That's an understatement. Okay, this eclipse, if it's happening in your first house, I cannot stress enough the importance of having a quiet day that day. Okay, and when we talk about Aries, we want to look to the ruler of Aries, which is Mars, and Mars is sitting in Pisces. Okay, Mars is sitting in a watery sign. It what it does now is take this go getter energy, this aggression, and it points it to the realm of Pisces. And Pisces is all about creativity. It's all about kind of an isolation, right? It is the mutable water, so it's always changing. Pisces knows the I don't want to use the word instability, but Pisces knows that nothing in life is constant. And Pisces embodies that, okay? And Mars, which is very direct, is in a sign that has to do with ebb and flow, okay? Mars doesn't necessarily like to be here. especially since Mars is closing in on Saturn. Mars and Saturn together causes a whole bunch of things that I'll get into. I won't get into now, but the ruler of Aries is in Pisces, which is an introverted sign, right? It's something that requires us to go within, and so any Aries suns, risings, and moons, this is very introspective. Okay, this is very introspective, and I argue that this Aries season is gonna be an introspective one. All right. So again, if you got Aries ascendant and you have this eclipse happening, I totally forgot to mention as well. This is this is what you call a stellium, because also Venus is in Aries as well. So Venus isn't really in play when it comes to this solar eclipse, but Venus, remember, is also in Aries, North Node in Aries, Sun, Moon, Chiron, and Mercury all in Aries. This is massive, massive, massive energy happening in one side, all right? So my Aries suns, you gotta really be careful, okay? Aries risings, definitely make sure that this is a quiet day for you, okay? Make sure you get some of that energy out, okay? Because after the end, and meditate, 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 chant, whatever it takes to get that mind under control. Please, please, please do it. Aries moons, this is big for you as well. Your emotions might just be out of whack right now. I don't blame you, but at the end of it, I believe that Aries moons will probably have the toughest time. You are another, all Aries placements definitely be isolated, be a little bit isolated, be as clean as possible in thought, in action, in emotions, feelings, be as clean as possible. And that takes quiet and a little bit of isolation. So do the chanting, do the meditation, relax the mind, relax the body. And if you must, purge, because things that will come up that you must purge, right? You'll realize on that day how much of it that, like, the things that you're trying to get to, how much of it is actually you're doing, the blockages to that, right? If you find that you want to get somewhere but there's a block, you'll find out on that eclipse day that most of it is actually your own internal fears, all right, and sensitive points. And this eclipse will give you that time, that energy, that opportunity to purge those things, okay? And now I will say I call it an experiment. I've done this experiment before when there was an eclipse, I think, involving Leo and Aquarius a couple years ago. And I did this purging. I was at work. I wasn't able to get out of work, but I constantly said this one sentence, this sentence kind of manifesting, the sentence was, I am worthy of love, something along those lines, right? I'm worthy, I'm worthy. I said this in my head. My work shift was about 8 hours. I said this in my head for 8 hours straight. I barely took a break, okay? And if I wasn't interacting with someone, I was repeating this to myself, either in my head or actually like saying it out quietly, right? And I did this for 8 hours straight. I did this on my ride home, okay? And on my ride home on the bus, I was crying, all right, crying in public. And, that gives me the ick, but I had to do it. I was purging. And let me tell you, the confidence, the actual worthiness, the just bombasticness that I felt a couple of days after was incredible. Why? Because I used the eclipse to lock that in place. Okay? So it definitely is a day to prepare for. Okay? It's a day to prepare for. And to get the most out of this planetary alignment. Okay? Yeah, I mean, all this happening in Aries rising, suns, moons, you have a really good chance right now to manifest something that will stay in your life for a long time, and something strong. So for Aries risings, it is a new outlook on life. You will be, if you use this eclipse wisely, you will be free from fears and shame and sensitive things having to do with your body, having to do with how you carry yourself in the world, having to do with the your outlook on life, right? And all that really stems from is how you really feel about yourself. So Aries risings, this is a really good opportunity for y'all to cleanse and to become new, kind of born again. Okay. um yes, yes. Aries suns, okay, this is gonna signal a real big change in how you identify yourself consciously. Okay, the sun represents our soul and how we see ourselves consciously. Okay, wherever the sun is, it's going to shine light. Okay, and we cannot see without light. We cannot perceive anything with our naked eye unless light falls on it. And so whatever the sun, wherever it is, it's going to brighten that space up. Okay, so when the sun and the moon come together and you have a sun in Aries and then there's an eclipse happening, okay, uh anything that's really blocking you, like if you have any doubts about who you are, if you have any issues with how you see yourself in the world, if you maybe might, sometimes you might do something and you think, oh, that's not who I am, or this is so contradictory to who I am. This is the chance, this eclipse, you have the chance to really, really examine that and to really purge yourself of, maybe you think you come on too strong, maybe you think you might be too masculine, maybe you think, you might be too aggressive. These are those ideas, you have the opportunity to really mold and change those ideas so that you become more comfortable with your identity, which you perceive yourself to be. Okay, how you are out into the world, right? The sun represents kind of like how we kind of look in the world, right? Like how our actions that we take, what our actions look like. Okay, that's what, and the sun in Aries is really good. It's really strong there. So if you're an Aries sun, your actions will look confident, right? Even if you don't feel confident on the inside, other people will see them as confident, authoritative, strong, kind of warrior like, fierce, energetic, playful, in the best ways. And because Chiron has been in Aries for a while, and if you have an Aries sun, there might be some fears about the way that you identify. All that will change after this eclipse. Okay, if you take the time to change it. Okay, so again, meditate, do the chanting, if you must. Keep your mind, your body cleansed, and see what rises to the top. See what shame and fear rises to the top, and confront it. And I know Aries sons can confront. Okay, honey, I know Aries sons can confront. They do not have a problem with that. So use that. Okay. People forget that Aries rules the head. And so it's easy to think that Aries are like jocks, dumb jocks. That couldn't be further from the truth. Quite a few Aries are in academia, high up in academia, simply because Aries rules the head. Okay, so there's a lot going on, but Aries are so instinctual, it looks like they don't think before they act. And usually when younger, yes, that's what happens when they're younger. But as they get older and you develop this Mars energy, you understand, right? You understand that, here Aries go head first into things, but they can also use their head for other things. Okay, and then literally means thinking things through, and that's when you integrate Libra. Okay, you integrate the opposite, which is Libra, which is harmony. Okay, so take your time and really try to understand, like, what is it about your identity that you feel somehow not so confident about, or blocked, or restricted? Okay. And it's usually those self sabotaging kind of thoughts or thought patterns, right? So really examine and confront those fears and shame that come up. Okay. Aries moons. This might definitely, you are the ones I'm gonna ask to definitely stay home and stay calm, cool, and collected. There's gonna be a lot happening. Like, even like, I want to say, end of March till like the 8th, past the 8th, you're gonna be feeling it because there's just so much activity happening in Aries, right? So you're gonna feel chaotic. You're gonna feel like, oh man, there's too much going on. Like, I don't know what to do, what to feel. Especially if you have anything between the 13 to 20 23 degrees of Aries, 13 to 23 degrees of Aries. If you have your moon is there, yeah, you're gonna feel it. And it's okay, it's okay. This is where you really confront the those blockages in your feelings, your emotional blockages. Okay. This also depends on where Aries is in your chart. All this depends on where Aries is in your chart. But if the moon is there, the moon is your mind, right? The way that you experience life. Okay. If you, like, I use this example. If someone trips over on a banana peel, one person might feel sorry for them, and the other person next to that person will laugh. And the moon will show that, this is the difference in experience in life, right? How you experience life, right? Because one person sees it as funny, while the other person sees it as, oh no, is that individual okay, right? The moon gives us our experience of life, how we process the stimuli coming in. Okay. And so with this eclipse happening, right, where the sun is being blocked out, this is really gonna make you emotional. Okay, this is really gonna make you be in your feels. Okay, and then Chiron is there, just wounding you left, right, and center. It sounds shitty. It really does. And once that happens, this eclipse is here to really cleanse that, to shake that out of you. Okay. And so for the sign doing the most crying, I would argue it's definitely the Aries moons. Okay, it's definitely the Aries moons. And it is okay. We need to purge here. Okay, so cry all you need. Again, do not be around people, places, or things that will trigger you emotionally. If you gotta be by yourself, be by yourself. Good remedy for Aries in general is to do some physical activity. Stay safe while you're doing it. Get that sweat going. Okay, and calm the mind. Okay, calm the mind. If you can do some meditation, some chanting, even saying a sentence over and over and over again for the day, as long as possible. Just keep doing it. A sentence or an affirmation that you feel you need. Okay. And this is in direct relation to what the Chiron is bringing up. Okay. This is in direct relation to the fears that the Chiron is bringing up. Whatever that fear is, once you've identified it, okay, journal, write it down. Okay. Confront it and use that affirmation. You write yourself an affirmation, something simple, something concise, and you say that throughout the rest of the day. You're not going to think about anything negative. You're not going to do anything negative. And if things like that do arise, kind of switch them away and be like, not today. Today you got business to take care of. The 8th of April, solar eclipse in Aries, you got business to take care of. So my Aries moons, y'all the ones I'm gonna be looking out for. Um, Purge, cry, say those affirmations. Use that Aries resilience, right, to pierce through the illusions that have been encompassing you since Chiron has been there in Aries. Okay. Mars in Pisces will give you a little more access to your intuition, but you got to know how to use it. Okay. You can't get lost in the sauce. So, my Aries moons, use your affirmations, cleanse your mind, cleanse your body, cleanse your soul. You definitely will be if you do it, if you put some kind of effort into this eclipse, okay? And stay away from things that trigger you. This goes for everyone on an eclipse. This goes for everybody on an eclipse. Stay away from the shit that will trigger you. And if you do feel triggered, let's remember that the work, anything that happens on an eclipse like this, you're setting yourself up for the next 6 months. Okay. So if you do feel triggered, do your best to like redirect. Okay. Eclipse day is like the day of an exam. And we can make the most impact on ourselves if we perform well on that exam. So you start small. Okay. Don't get bogged down by details and shit like that if you're new to this. Start small. I started with an affirmation that I repeated over and over and over and over again. I had a, basic, I didn't eat the cleanest. I was at work. I was dealing with other people. But what I tried my best to do was keep mindfulness at the forefront of myself and repeating that affirmation over and over like an insane individual. Okay? But it worked. I cannot stress to you how important, how much impact those actions that I took on that eclipse helped me. I cannot stress that shit enough. So a little effort is gonna go a long, long way. Do your best. I know you can. I know you can. Okay. So this is what I got for the eclipse, the solar eclipse in Aries. Obviously, we're gonna have to check to see where Aries is in your chart, and that will tell you which area of your life is being affected. Okay, so yeah, I hope this helped, and best of luck to everyone. I know I talked about Aries for the most part, but the whole staying isolated, staying clean, staying cleansed, calm, cool, and collected, that goes for everybody. But it'll go for everybody in a specific area of life. In a specific area of life, okay? So maybe, hopefully, I'll try to get maybe another video out about the other signs. But for my Aries, okay, for my fire signs, for my cardinal signs, please, please, please take advantage, okay? Start small, okay? And this, if you guys wanted maybe like a little like blueprint of what should happen, right? These are things that you can do if you wanted. I'm not saying you have to do these things. I'm not saying you have to do all of these things. But these are things that can help, okay? Because these actions will help cleanse the mind, keep the mind focused, okay? Wake up in the morning early, you cleanse yourself, your body, you eat veg, and you go into meditation. So this can be for however long you want, right? You and there's many types of meditation that can be done, okay? Meditation or hypnosis. I like hypnosis. Again, whatever works for you. You can go into meditation, calm the mind, and then what you can do is immediately start an affirmation. This is really good. If you go into meditation, calm the mind, calm the body, okay, you can go into an affirmation. I suggest actually doing some physical activity for like a half hour before going into meditation, just so you can calm down the body and it'll be easier to calm the mind. Whatever works for you. Again, put this together however you want. Yes. So go into that affirmation, okay, after you've done that meditation, and you try your best to keep up with it all day, okay, until you go to bed. That's what I did or tried to do. That's what I will try to do on the eclipse. And hopefully I can tell you all about it, and hopefully you guys can tell me about it. Okay. But that's what I got for our solar eclipse in Aries. Stay calm, stay clean, cleansed, and go within and confront those fears, confront those shadows, that shame. Confront it and replace it with something that makes you proud and happy of the new person that you will inevitably be at the end of this eclipse. All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. Take care and best of luck.